So this first little video, I'm going to talk about how to find missing sides on a right triangle. This is called solving right triangles. If you look at your book, I'm on page 496, 497, section 6.2. So at the bottom it says, like, to solve a triangle means to find the lengths of all sides and the measure of all angles. So right now some will be given to us and we'll have to find some other stuff. So let's get going. So our first problem gives us this triangle, ABC, and some side lengths and some angles and some things we know. We know we've got a right angle at C. I know that angle A is 61.7 degrees. And I know that the length from A to B, which is the hypotenuse of the right triangle, is 106.2 units, inches, centimeters, miles, something along those lines. I need to find everything else that I don't know. I want to find the two side lengths that are missing, A and B, and I want to find this angle up at the top at B that I don't know yet. I hope you see that I know two angles out of the triangle. I know the 61.7 at angle A, and I know the right angle, and I know that all three angles in a triangle need to add up to 180. So I know that 90 plus the 61.7 plus whatever angle B is has to add to 180 degrees. So you're just going to solve that simple little equation, and when you're done you're going to get that the angle B has measurement of 28.3 degrees. Now the other things I do not know yet, I got angle B, I'll just put a little check there. I still don't know the measure of length A or side length B. And so we're going to use our trig to solve that. So let's remind ourselves of our three trig functions, our three main ones: sine, cosine, and tangent. Now one of these is going to be helpful. Now remember, the sine of an angle is the ratio of the opposite side to the hypotenuse. The cosine of an angle is the ratio from the adjacent side to the hypotenuse. And then the tangent ratio is the opposite side to the adjacent side. So in each of these problems, what I'm going to do is look at my triangle and see what angle I know, what side I know, and then one of the sides I'm looking for can be solved using one of my three trig ratios. So if I go back to my triangle over on the left, the angle I know is 61.7 degrees. So let's first try to solve for A. Well, A is the opposite side from 61.7. And I know 106.2. I know the hypotenuse. That's the hypotenuse of the triangle. Well, which of my trig functions compares the opposite side to the hypotenuse? That's sine. So I'm going to use the sine function to help me solve for A. So we said sine because sine, the sine of an angle, so the sine of my angle that I'm talking about, 61.7 degrees, is the ratio of the opposite side, A, to the hypotenuse, 106.2. So now, if I solve for A, I'm just going to multiply both sides by that 106.2. So times 106.2 on the left, those are going to cancel, times 106.2 on the right. So then I get A by itself. A is equal to 106.2 times the sine of 61.7 degrees. And now I'm almost there. I just go to my calculator. Now make sure your calculator is in degree mode. Degree mode. And you're going to type in 106.2 sine 61.7. And you're going to get that the length of A is 93.5 whatever's units. Okay, then we're almost done. We don't know B yet. So here's just our triangle again. I don't know what B is yet. I've solved for A, but B's down here. And the angle I know is this 61.7. I also know the other angle up top, and you could use that. It would just work a little differently, but you're going to get the same answer. So let's compare my sides to where my angle is. The side I want to know, B, is the side adjacent to my angle. That says adjacent, ADJ, not OLDJ. Then I can use either the side I just solved for, or let's use the 106.2, because that's going to be more accurate. That side is still the hypotenuse of my triangle. So if you go back and look at your trig functions, your trig ratios, the one that compares the adjacent side to the hypotenuse is the cosine. So the cosine of my angle, 61.7, is the ratio of adjacent over hypotenuse. And then this one solves almost just like the last one. I'm going to multiply by 106.2 on both sides, so that my left side reads 106.2 cosine of 61.7 is equal to B. I'm going to type that into my calculator. You don't have to change it into degree mode again. It should stay in degree mode until you change it. And you should get that B is about 50.3. So after this tutorial, you should be able to do the following part of the homework. The homework is on 500 something. 504. Numbers 1 through 4 are going to be just like the problem we just did. And then the following other numbers are going to be just solving for parts of a right triangle like we just did. So 18 is going to be like that, 20, 21, 22, 29, and 30 are all going to be like this. So I would, before you move on, maybe try these problems.